Okay, great. My name is Mina Learwood. They call me Senora Mina at school because I work at a Spanish-speaking school. So I've been making art cars for 18 years, and I started making art bikes about 6 years ago. So I've had sort of a transformation in my career. Because I'm a school teacher, I've made over 30 art cars, many art projects with students, many community projects, many, family projects or niece and nephew projects or whatever, where we're like, let's paint the car! And so I just always feel like our streets look better when there's more art on the street, and it's a great way to meet people. It's always a source of a conversation, why did you do that to your car? What does this mean? Or I love that too, so I've worked on a lot of different themes of art cars. My personal theme has probably been the polar bear for about, I think like maybe 8 years I've been working on polar bear issues, using the polar bear as the subject of my art. I love many other subjects as well, but the polar bear for me as an environmentalist has been a representation of some of the beauty of the world that we could lose if we're not careful with the resources that we have. So one of the reasons that I switched my focus from art cars, which I still, by the way, have to drive a car, and I don't drive it a lot. I commute by bicycle, but I still drive a car, and I still feel like you should have an art car if you have a car. So even though I'm an environmentalist, I'm not. I live in the real world, and so, but in the real world, I like to have objects of imagination roaming the streets that give people a chance to like get out of the box and go, what, or to just dream and have a little more imagination and a little more non-corporate creativity in their lives. There's so much in this world, so much of creativity is bought and sold. So many of the things that our children love are, characters from movies, and I love them too, but you know what? You have to be able to create your own worlds and your own imagination and nurture that. And so sometimes when people see what I've been doing with my car or my bikes, they'll be like, where did this idea come from? And most of my ideas are really drawn from the environment. First, they're drawn from the beautiful natural world and all the animals and plants and birds and creatures that live there. But then second, my ideas are drawn from the city, because I'm a city bird. And I live here in South Minneapolis. This is the beautiful, hot, lovely time of year in Minneapolis, August. And I'm going to introduce you to a creation called the Polar Bear, which I am the ringleader of. And there's a lot of people, a team of 12 people that were core on this bear, but a team of, 50 or 60 people worked on it, and so many people have a stake in it that it doesn't belong to any of us, including me. So I just want to show you Stormy the Polar Bear. She's made out of recycled everything. You can see her jaw, which moves. She's kind of like a giant puppet. The wiring is in the inside. Maybe I should just show you right into the inside of Stormy. Come on in. Okay, so Stormy was made. I'm backing up. The creation of the pedal cloud, which is, I'm holding the steering wheel of the pedal cloud right here. This is a 10-person bicycle. You could say it's similar to a pedal pug. There's 10 seats. It's propelled by 10 pedalers. This is the driver's seat, and we've got brakes here, we've got lights here, because we have some turn signals on the back, and we have a VW transmission with first, second, third, fourth, and reverse. So Stormy can go quite well. She can't go fast, but she can go probably 5 miles an hour, which when you see a giant polar bear pedaling down the street, even at 5 miles an hour, all you want to do is jump on board. So that's what people do generally. It's also kind of like a jungle gym, and the neighborhood kids will tell you they've spent a lot of time playing around on this thing. the geniuses behind the pedal cloud, because this bicycle contraption here, which seats 10 people, this portion of the pedal bear is called the pedal cloud, and it was made by Matt Carlisle, Hans Nelson Early, and a group of community members in a garage over in the south side, a welding studio garage. You know, it was made at home out of all recycled parts, a lot of bike parts. Also the chassis of a VW bus went into this. And, you know, for a long time, the pedal cloud, just the contraption, the bicycle contraption, roamed the streets of Minneapolis. And then about a year ago, a group of puppeteers and environmentalists and bike enthusiasts like myself approached Matt Carlisle and said, can we build a giant polar bear on top of the pedal cloud? And Matt Carlisle said, hell yeah! Because he knows he doesn't exactly own it. It's owned by the community. It's like an anarchistic object that has no actual owner. It travels from place to place, and I'm taking care of it at the moment, but it will be traveling to other places. It's been in White Bear Lake, it's been in St. Paul, it's been all over the Twin Cities and the suburbs as well. So here, you know, this is where you keep your drinks if you need drinks while you're pedaling, because you probably will, because you'll be working up a sweat. One of the things I asked, the drivetrain is right here in the center. You can see there's a double drivetrain. One of the really cool things about this is the mechanics behind it. But the drivetrain had to be covered in this area because I asked Matt Carlisle if we could please weld a bench on the back. That means that little kids can ride, old people can ride, people without legs can ride. So basically this made it an experience for everybody. So before, when it was made by the bicycle fanatics that built this part, it was made for people who could pedal and one driver. Now everyone can get on board, and there's days when we have this packed with children. We have the children operating the mouth and the tail. So when they pull on this one, the tail wags. Whoa! When they pull on this one, the tail wags, and when they pull on this one, the jaw open and closes. So we put the children to work while they're back here. When you're sitting in these chairs, you can also pull on this, and then the whole head mechanism works. You can see it's cantilevered, and it's like a giant bobblehead. So you see, when you're experiencing the pedal bear on the street, it looks quite lively. It also has beautiful lights at night, and it can be just illuminated. It's made out of this construction plastic. Sorry, there's many recycled pieces on here, but this is the fiberglass laced plastic that is used by construction sites. Like they'll hang a giant piece of it on the side of a skyscraper when they're maybe constructing it so that debris will not fall on the street. And so at the end of their work, a lot of times they just trash the construction plastic. And so we asked a construction site if they would give us theirs, and then we cut it into like a million little tiny strips, and then all these different community members tied it on. And we had these quilting bees last winter where like huge groups of people would get together and just tie and tie and tie and tie. This rain fly was constructed spur of the moment one time when it rained. It obviously has some problems. We're probably hatching like our own mosquito population right there. But at any rate, this is snow fencing, which is used in the north to keep the roads clear and so on. So most of the snow fencing is recycled, not all of it. This conduit that the frame of the pedal bear is built with was mostly donated by an electrician friend of ours, Alan Christian, who's a great sculptor and well known in the art car world. So Alan Christian and a team of 5 other welders, including Peter Schulze, Matt Carlisle, Greg Learwood, Richard Parnell, and Chuck Dollar, all worked on building this frame. And they were welding it. Last winter, we only had about a week or maybe 10 days to weld this thing together, and Alan was the genius that he took a small model of a polar bear and he drew lines on it to indicate where the little bumps and crevices were of a form. You know, he was doing an anatomical study of this polar bear, and then he showed us how to bend the conduit in such a way that it really finessed the shape of the bear, and that's why when you see it from a distance, it actually really looks like a bear, or some people say a puppy dog, but it's a giant polar bear. When you see the teeth on that thing, you're like, oh, this isn't a puppy dog. This is actually a polar bear. And all these different people wanted to work on this giant project. It was kind of an amazing thing for me because I love the polar bears. For me, it's an environmentalist statement. For other people in the group, it's not. It's just a hell of a lot of fun. For other people in the group, it's a chance to work on a community project that's way bigger than anything one of us could do alone. So there's so many people involved in the planning and the caring. This actual, I should really mention that this mesh method with the tying the plastic onto the plastic, this was invented by Janet Gronert, who's also a member of the art car community. And so we had just so many people helping us to figure out how to do it. And when you work on a project that's bigger than anyone has ever done before, you come across problems that you've never had before, and you have to put your heads together to solve the problems. And it's amazing when you have such a talented group solving these problems. It's amazing, the materials, the experimentation, the structural stuff. I mean, Matt Carlisle was like, okay, I need to weld an armitage, what's the word?
Armature?
Armature? I need to weld an armature for this head piece because a single beam wouldn't be strong enough for the amount of weight that we had on the head. So Matt Carlisle welded this truss right here with all these. I mean, it's just amazing. You never really think about what would it take to, build a 1-ton bobblehead. You just don't think about like how much strength it's going to take to hold it up, and so every problem, as we came to the problem, we had to solve it. And it's just amazing to see all the different people in the group rising to the occasion and putting their best foot forward and helping out. And nobody owns it, and nobody can keep it. It has to keep going. It's part of its mission is to travel and to be shared. We're all in this together. That is really the message of the Pedal Bear.